You're listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
And remember, it's not Chris and Chris show.
I know. I've been giving myself pep talks now in the mirror before we do an episode. Hello, folks, and welcome to Champion Cinema. I'm Chris with a C.
And I'm Chris with a K.
We're going to be doing, if you're a long-time listener, you'll know we do these yearly retrospectives now and then, and we realised we missed 98 for some reason. We thought we were all caught up. What a big run there, but no, 98.
Apparently we're like, fuck 98.
Apparently there was just, I was looking through the list and I was like, I can probably see why if we looked at it and went, let's just skip it and go back to it. It's not an amazing year, but there is some stuff to talk about though. There is some
definitely, yeah, there's some, yeah, definitely.
So I can look back at 98, we'll go through it by genres and then have some gaming stuff and some world events at the end. Just, it's a general wrap-up, but mainly to films.
Bit of banter. That's
Bit of banter, bit of patter, all that good stuff. Get your banter pants on. No reaction to that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just went dead inside at that comment.
Oh, you are dead inside.
Champion Cinema.
Few comments start off with Ask Folks about Memories from 98. Cynthia on Instagram says, would love to hear your insights on The Replacement Killers if you have seen that film before. We'll definitely be talking about Mr. Chow Yun-fat. We've got some things to say concerning, not necessarily the film, but surrounding that film.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it, but it's very much Hong Kong broke into Hollywood, so to speak. So, yeah.
Video returns. That says 98 was the year of Blues Brothers 2000 for me, baby, and nothing else. She does enjoy Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh, no. Isn't it? I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but isn't it considered terrible?
It's up there with it's usually considered like the bad sequels category.
Yeah. Never seen it. Actually, never seen it.
It's okay. Yeah. But I'm not diehard the original Blues Brothers, so I didn't come at it from that angle of this is abhorrent. They shouldn't have done it. I was just it's just one of those later sequels that probably shouldn't have been made. But
yeah,
it's okay.
Misguided sequel.
MW Fan 87, aka Stacey with an S, says, I wouldn't have watched it in 98, but it was released then. I was obsessed with Shakespeare in Love, watched it so many times. Also, probably my favourite episode of Frasier, Ski Lodge, a classic farce episode. I don't believe I've seen that one.
I'm sure you probably remember it if you started watching it, because it's all them going in and out of doors and getting confused with one another. It's like classic Frasier French farce stuff.
I haven't watched any Frasier for ages. I'm going to have to dig out my box sets.
Yeah, it's on, I'm trying to think what they're on. They're on Paramount, yeah. That's
everything I want to watch is on fucking Paramount, and I'm not paying for another subscription service.
I know. It's a pain in the arse, isn't it?
Yeah. But that came out at the end. It's sort of my favourite CD. It's a compilation, Don't Judge. The Best New Women in Country came out, although tragically no tracks on it by Reba McEntire of Tremors fame.
I can attest to her love of that CD as well. Whenever in the car it goes on, on the journey over.
I like how she's got to put in it's a compilation. Don't judge.
Yeah.
Because she thinks we're all thinking she's Alan Partridge. I like the best of the Beatles.
I like fucking Now That's Music 98 or something.
Yeah. What's your favourite album? Probably Dance Anthems 97.
Yeah, Shakespeare in Love as well. That was obviously that's a film I don't believe I've ever seen.
No.
But
why did I like the play?
But it was. I can definitely remember it being all over the place at the time.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that later with the whole fucking Harvey Weinstein Oscars campaign. Where everyone was like, "This one."
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get cracking, I suppose.
Yes.
So 1998 was released the 1st of January 1998. It runs for 365 days or 8,760 hours. It stars Chris with a C, Chris with a K, Jackie Chan, Jeff Bridges, Mel Gibson, Godzilla's second cousin on his mother's side, and Chow Yun-fat. What's the plot?
Well, we're coming to the end of the 90s, thank God.
Yeah. We left school in 98.
Yeah, I suppose we did, didn't we? Yeah, little terror-ways that we were.
Yeah, little 16-year-old little pieces of shit.
I was at that awkward phase where I really, really wanted to buy toys, but I also didn't want to buy toys because I thought it was stupid and childish.
You didn't want people to think you were a dick.
Classic. But, yeah.
Because it was high school, you didn't want people to think you were quote-unquote gay.
Yeah, everything was gay to a high school child in Blythe at that time.
So I guess we'll start with top 10 highest grossing movies worldwide.
Bit of a rough year. Is it a rough year? When I was picking through the bones of this year, I was kind of like there definitely is some big movies, but I also think like it just felt like blech, this year.
It's not a super memorable year.
No. So yeah, I'd be interested. I haven't looked at like what are the top grossing movies. So although I could maybe guess one involves a giant lizard, probably.
Yes, quite high as well. Quite high.
But go on, let's do it.
So 10 was Lethal Weapon 4, so that managed to get into the top 10, which is nice. 9 was Shakespeare in Love. 8 was Dr. Dolittle. 7, Mulan. Any thoughts on Mulan being a big Disney mark?
Only that it's okay. It's not really a massive one for me.
I know Jackie dubs like the male lead in the Chinese version and like sings all the songs.
Does he?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it was never, again, I mean, going back to what we just said, it was like, I was at that phase where I was like, fucking Disney, it's for kids, man, it's for kids.
Yeah. And then you left school and were like, I love Disney.
Like a year later, Disney posters and Disney pyjamas again.
6, it was kind of the era of big disaster movies coming back, so Deep Impact. Never seen it. I always get them all mixed up. I don't know. I've probably seen bits of it on TV. Can't remember which one it is.
Yeah.
5, A Bug's Life. Ants didn't make it into the top 10. 4, There's Something About Mary. 3, Godzilla. 2, Saving Private Ryan. And 1, can you guess what 1 was?
No. Yeah, because Titanic obviously was the year before.
Yeah.
God, yeah, I honestly would have said like one of the ones you've already said, like Saving Private Ryan.
It was a big one. It was a big one.
Not the Truman Show.
Armageddon.
Oh, of course, shit, Armageddon. Yeah, of course.
Big stupid film.
Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's number one. I mean, don't get us wrong. I'm not. Saving Private Ryan's not my favourite movie, but you think like something like that deserved probably, right, to have like.
Well, yeah, but you know.
But no, apparently some stupid movie about oil riggers going to the moon or whatever.
I like to just think like that. I don't know, they got on the moon or something like that. So I'm assuming it's real. That picture that went around years ago of what Avatar's synopsis is on like some airline, and it says a paraplegic marine gets sent to the moon. I was like, that's the plan.
They just vaguely paid attention to it and went, whatever.
But I guess we'll move on to like what was happening at the Oscars in '98. Obviously, you know, Titanic was the big winner that year.
Because was it this year, '98, or was the first year? Sorry, Titanic was the first movie to surpass 1 billion gross in 1998. Although it came out in '97, it was like a big thing for 1998. Yeah.
But here's the thing about the Oscars. I mean, I know this is an obvious thing to say, but especially with Titanic, which is one of those movies where, like, you know, it's nostalgic and like I don't mean to be sexist, but girls like it's a girly movie.
It's a love story.
Yeah,
it's a love story.
But like, it's not like a great movie. I don't care what anyone says. Technically, it is, but as a movie, it's like it's just a love story, but it's on the Titanic. I've never understood the love for it. But like, you look at the nominations for Best Picture that year: Titanic, L.A. Confidential, The Full Monty, Good Will Hunting, and As Good as It Gets. All of them, besides Full Monty, I've never understood the hype behind that movie that should have won Best Picture. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's just a big Jim Cameron thing, I guess, that everyone was like patting him on the back.
Let's give him his due because he made a big movie. Yeah, I don't know. Because if you look, right, supporting actor, Robin Williams won. Best actor, actress, Jack Nicholson, Helen Hunt won for As Good as It Gets. Screenplay, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck for Good Will Hunting. Adapted screenplay, L.A. Confidential. And Titanic pretty much got everything else, director, film. All the ones that didn't win, don't you think they're quite important ingredients into what makes a good movie?
Yeah.
So how can everything else win all that? But then they're like, but the best film was Titanic.
It's like, but it made all the money.
Yeah, exactly. That seems like what it is. Oh, it made the most money, so it's the best. That's the only reason I can think of.
Yeah, because it's like, it's overly long. It's quite apparent what's going to happen, like, throughout the entire movie, because obviously everybody knows the Titanic. It was a funny one, wasn't it? But I tell you what, obviously it properly launched Leo DiCaprio's career and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was like, crazy. You know, he was gaining momentum until then. Then it was just like, you know,
shooting to the moon.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the Oscars that year. Big year for Jimmy Cams.
Yeah.
Jimmy Cams. I guess we'll go into movies then. We'll start with horror because it was kind of a slim year for horror.
Yeah, some big grim sequels.
Grim sequels, and the first, I would say, at least of the modern era, the big classic remakes with Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake of Psycho.
Yeah, yeah. Which I've only seen like maybe once or twice.
I've seen it once. Yeah.
And it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting experiment. Remake a movie, but just shoot it shot for shot.
Because that was the entire point in it. It was made pretty much as like an expensive experiment to see if like an old movie that young people might not watch, if you just remade it with modern stars in colour, shot for shot, would they like it?
Yeah.
And that was so it's interesting. Didn't really need to be made.
No. Yeah, like totally unnecessary and insane that Vince Vaughn. Like, is it Vince Vaughn's like one of his earliest movies? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because it's so closely sticking to the original, it's not a bad film technically, but you cannot really like put that praise on the movie because obviously you should just be praising the original Psycho, basically.
It would be interesting to talk to someone though who was like a teenager when that came out, and that was the first version of Psycho they saw. That would be weird because to go back and watch the original after that.
Yeah.
Because it's always strange anyway when like you see the remake first, but this is like line for line, shot for shot. Besides, maybe I think they added a few F-bombs in there, maybe to modernise it. I think from what I remember.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh no, and they also added the bit where obviously they couldn't do this in the '60s when Norman's spying through his people. Like in the remake, they've added like wanking sounds in the background. Because just be a bit more grotty.
Stay classy, 90s.
Yeah,
Stay classy.
Exactly. Stay classy, Vince. So you have Olivants and shit.
Maybe it was his suggestion. Listen to me, guys. How about? And then they just put that in. They're like, just put it in.
How about I just start going to town on myself? We also had a John Carpenter movie this year, Vampires. John Carpenter's Vampires.
Yeah, I mean,
your favourite movie, your favourite Carpenter movie.
Oh, Carpenter! How could you do that to yourself? I love him to bit, and I love all his films, but he gave us the turd that is Vampires.
It's not a turd. It's nowhere near top tier Carpenter. But like, is it? If you kind of ignore it's a John Carpenter movie, it's just kind of a daft, fun 90s horror movie.
Yeah, I guess it'll give us like lots of quotes, like James Woods, where he's all like, "Did that give you wood? Did that give you a stiffy?" And all
bit of mahogany and all that.
And as I'm sure we've quoted before on the show, the bit when they were like, listen, forget what you've seen in the movies. Vampires aren't like these European guys who dress in like designer outfits and stuff.
Yeah, and then the bad guy turns up and he's just exactly that.
And it's like, is that like some sort of ironic?
Yeah, I never really understood if that was them just taking the piss or not. Yeah. He turns up looking like your typical 90s vampire.
Very strange. But
also, Cheryl Lee looks amazing in that movie.
Yeah, true.
Which Baldwin is it again? I get the Baldwins mixed up except for Alec. Is it Stephen or
Baldwin?
Bobby Baldwin?
Yeah.
Norman Baldwin?
The weaker one of the Baldwins.
Yeah.
The one that didn't suckle long enough on the teat.
I think all the Baldwins, like when you go down from Alec, they all look like... It's so cruel, but they all look like the failed clones.
That's what I mean. He's like the one that got the least genes or something.
Is it just because I knew Alec Baldwin for years before I saw any of the brothers, so it's just because like they all look similar but not quite, so they just all look like a weird version of Alec Baldwin. I don't know.
A watered down Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. What Urban Legend, which I actually saw not long ago for the first time, and it's actually really good. It's kind of it's got its fans, but like it's in that era of like post-Scream horror, it's one of the good ones.
I was going to say that it's an interesting time for horror in terms of, because obviously like Scream massively changed the landscape really, and you had all those movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I always kind of enjoyed Urban Legend. Yeah, I watched it.
It's a good idea. It's got a good cast. That opening scene with Brad Dourif with like the Urban Legend of the guy in the back of the car at the petrol station. That's like a great, just short movie on its own. Yeah. Really well done. Speaking of which, we also had the sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't think I've seen that one. I still Know What You Did Last Summer. Probably saw them.
I know I was renting a lot during that era, so I probably just rented it just for the fuck of it.
I remember watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, and when it was over, I was like, that was a whelming movie, as we said last week. It was just whelmed. It was just in the middle the entire time.
I'm trying to remember, what was the one where everyone had like a death mark on them and they're going to die?
I don't know.
You know, where there's like death's literally coming from them.
It's Final Destination.
Final Destination, that's it. That was another one. Yeah.
I thought you meant literally they had a branding on them.
Although, wait a minute, I think I'm getting two movies mixed up as well, because am I getting the thingy movie, the Michael J. Fox movie as well? They've got like a number on their head or something, haven't they, in that film? The Frighteners.
No, I've seen The Frighteners.
You've not seen The
Never
Frighteners? No. That's not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. But it didn't come out in 1998.
I was going to say, did it? Did I miss it?
No. But yeah, it was a... Yeah, I mean, it's just what Hollywood does, isn't it? Like, once something's kind of popular, they stick to that formula for a bit.
Oh, yeah. That's what I always found funny about, like, Scream was like a sort of a tribute and sort of poking fun at the holes in slasher movies, and like... And then they just got franchised, and then that spawned on other movies. It happened again, basically.
Yeah, crazy.
It's kind of funny. It spawned another slasher boom, even though it was kind of being a parody of the slasher boom in the 80s. It's kind of funny.
I think slasher will always have its appeal, really.
Of course it will.
In one way or another.
Yeah.
And like, you could probably reinvent that slasher thing even today, basically.
Yeah.
And like, I'm surprised we're probably not that too far off from somebody doing something with it.
Well, Eli Roth finally made Thanksgiving last year, which apparently even people who hate Eli Roth's movies have said it's really fun.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. But speaking of which, I mean, big slasher boom got Jamie Lee Curtis back for Halloween H2O, which also came out in '98.
A big like hiatus for her from the franchise, I guess, right?
From horror in general, yeah.
Yeah. Is it reminders? Is it like 20 years? Is that one of the bullshit reasons why it was called H2O?
It was the 20th anniversary of since the original. Yeah,
such a stupid title.
It is. I know.
It's like, what's that about water?
Because I don't know if it's still the official. Like, it was like some posters say Halloween H2O 20 years later. Just call it Halloween 20 years later.
Yeah.
Why H2O?
They're trying to be cool, basically, because Independence Day and ID4 and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Basically, like it was just such a 90s thing to do, basically. Like,
but yeah, like I've always thought Halloween H2O was good. I've always thought it was okay, but like it just looks a hell of a lot better now after those last 3 pieces of trash.
True. Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Where at the time you probably think, ugh, but then once you get past all that crap and you look back on something like that, you're like, actually.
It's just like when you watch it with not even a keen eye, but you just watch it and just watch the Myers mask change every other scene. They could never decide what they wanted the mask to be, to the point where they kept changing it, and then at one point we're like, well, we can't go back and change that, so just put some 1998 CGI over them.
Yeah.
And they just CGI'd a mask on them, and it looks awful.
Mental.
Bride of Chucky, which is like the return of Chucky after a little hiatus. I've never seen any of them past 3, so I can't really give my opinion on Bride of Chucky, although I heard it was fun.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's like more tongue-in-cheek, and like, yeah, it has its audience like massively, and obviously like people cosplaying as like what's Tiffany or something?
Yeah.
Massively popular, and like NECA have done like a massive thing with Bride of Chucky for years now.
They've done so much Chucky stuff over the past few years, haven't they?
Yeah. You can buy like the full size like Chucky, like the doll itself, but the doll from Bride of Chucky, and then you can also get Tiffany as well from Bride of Chucky. And, like crazy. So yeah, fair play. Probably like the right thing. I'm surprised they didn't just go straight to space or something.
I know. I don't think Chucky's been to space yet.
But they were like, oh, let's do a female doll. Yeah, it kind of works, and it's clever the way they do it. It isn't just like a female doll off the shelf sort of thing. It's interesting the way the doll ends up being inhabited.
And then in the next one, they had a kid. So they had a child doll.
Yeah.
We also had the 4th Phantasm movie. I watched all the Phantasm sequels not long, like last year something. I love the original, but I'd never watched the sequels. And I think I watched 4. They all kind of bleed together. Yeah. Like especially 3 and 4, because they all take place directly after each other pretty much. Yeah. Kind of. So I think I watched 4.
I've still got Phantasm 1 to watch. It's still on my list.
Have you never seen the original Phantasm?
I don't think so. But yeah, we'll see when I start watching it. But it is there to watch. Like,
we should maybe do it on the show sometime. Yeah. It's one of my favourites from the late 70s. And we also had the original Ringu from Japan.
I was going to say, Ring's like, that's such a, an influential movie, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
massive. Right, and like in a delayed way though. It took some time for like American movies and stuff to sort of catch on to Ring. I suppose once it was made for an American audience.
When was the remake? Was it 2001 or 2?
Yeah, a couple of years later.
Yeah, but yeah, it pretty much did kickstart the. I mean, there'd been like there was already a Ring TV movie made in Japan like 94 something, 95. So it already those movies had already been around in Japan for a bit, but this became a big hit overseas, and just everyone got into J-horror for a good few years, and then of course America started remaking them and shit. And I mean, I love the original, but like, I can see why someone would see the remake first and go back and find the original a bit slow and dull.
Yeah.
Because it is very deliberate, and it's more of like, it's less a horror movie and more of like a...
It's like a thriller, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, an investigator who done it almost. Like, there's just lots of investigating for like the middle hour of the movie, but some freaky stuff in there. You know,
Yeah.
I love that. I love the way Japan does terrifying things in broad daylight.
Yeah.
That's the one thing it sets apart. There's no creepy, moody light, and it's just insanely like out there things happening like in your living room in the middle of the day. And it's
just a
terrifying.
crazy tone, isn't it?
Yeah.
To like, certainly The Ring and a few other Japanese movies where there's just this underlying dread in the movie where like something awful is going to happen.
Especially the videotape. The videotape is still really effective, and that was the one thing I hated in the remake. Like, I don't just dislike the remake; it's okay, but the cursed video just looks like a music video. I think there is even shots of like a Nine Inch Nails music video in there somewhere.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
it looks like an art movie. Like, it looks too clean.
Can't remember who is in the remake.
Snare Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was always good. He was always good.
I'm just not sure I've seen it. I think I was always just like, nah, whatever.
And also, though, the same year, there's the Ring sequel that no one really talks about, because it was like they made Ring and a movie called Spiral back to back, and Spiral flopped. So then we got the director of Ring to go and make Ring 2. So you can get Spiral now. Like, Arrow released it in their box set.
Well,
so.
did they?
Yeah, but it just was not well received at all. Even though that's more like sticks to the book as well. It sticks to the books, but everyone was like, I don't like it.
I think Ring's become one of them franchises, though, isn't it? Where it's like there's like Ring -1, Ring 4,
Oh, there's so
Ring
many.
2, and Ring 4 is actually Ring 2 and stuff.
There's
You're
like there's a Versus movie with like the Grudge character and Sadako from Ring, like fucking Freddy versus Jason. Then there's like Sadako 3D, and I'm like, yeah, I can't be bothered with all these movies. Have I missed any in horror you wanted to mention?
Let's have a look. The only other one is Species 2 came out as well.
Never seen any of those
Bit of
movies.
Sci-fi horror. You're not in Species? First
No.
Species? Nah, you
Seems
should
very much like a Landon film.
yeah, it very much is. Yeah, as a bird gets her kicks off and everything in that film. Man. Get it watched.
I mean, when you're 16, that's like, let's rent it.
No, it's obviously I was just a fan of it because of the H.R. Giger stuff, basically.
Oh yeah, that's an H.R. Giger thing, isn't it?
Yeah, he did all the like creature effects and artwork and stuff. So
Who else is in that again? Is it like Michael Madsen and stuff?
Michael Madsen
Yeah.
and the black guy, the guy with the lazy eye, the funny eye. What's it called?
Oh, Forrest Whitaker.
Yes, Forrest Whitaker. Just popped out of my head. Sorry, Forrest, for just totally forgetting your name and describing you as the man with the lazy eye.
Oh, Jesus, disrespect.
But there you go. It got us there in the end. But yeah, again, a franchise that like extremely diminishing returns.
I
The
can
first
imagine.
one wasn't like superb, but
Yeah.
by the time you get the second and then the third one, you're like,
I was going
"Ey."
to say, yeah, there was a third one, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there was probably a fourth one on a TV show.
Oh, probably.
If you look deep enough.
Yeah.
What about that? It's sort of a horror film. It's like a sci-fi film with like, it's almost like an Event Horizon deal. Sphere, that Sphere movie.
Yeah, I've got that in sci-fi.
Yeah, where it's like it is a sci-fi movie, but actually it's got like pretty deep like horror undertones going on in the movie. It's kind of trippy, kind of does like what Event Horizon does, where it's like everyone's kind of freaking out and going out their minds and stuff, and having hallucinations and then murdering each other and stuff. So it's interesting. I always put Sphere and Event Horizon very like close together in terms of tone and feel.
Yeah, the late 90s was a time for, like, you know, it happened a few times in the 80s, but, you know, of just a bunch of films coming out that are very similar. Like, there was a script going around Hollywood and everyone saw it and ripped it off or something.
Yeah.
Because what was that other one that I think came out the next year with, like, Jamie Lee Curtis called Virus, which is kind of similar, I
Yeah.
think, from what I remember.
Yeah, just like had a really nihilistic feel to it, like people dying and stuff, and yeah.
But as for comedy,
yeah.
there's something about Mary. It made cum jokes mainstream again.
Yeah, it was. I think we were already well into it, but it was that still that like, you know, gross out, you know, like the apple pie stuff, the American
Apple pie film.
Yeah, exactly. The apple pie fucker joke, basically.
Yeah, the pie fucker film.
Basically, Jason Biggs.
Although that wasn't
fucking
that
pie.
was that not the next year though?
Was it?
I think this is what started like the gross out comedies coming back, and then I think American Pie was 99.
God, because I know there's like, I can't remember the name of the movie, but when you scan through box arts and stuff from '98, you just start seeing movies where there's like a red stamp. You know, like the title is a red stamp,
Yeah.
and there's like faces on the box pulling like daft faces, and it's like whoa, it's like 100% uncut edition.
Yeah.
I think we're getting into that era basically where it was like too hot for cinemas and all that sort of shit. Where you're like, fuck off.
Yeah, that's why I love that the joke that movie Sex Drive made with their unrated version. Where it was they just like superimposed just floppy dongs on the screen for no reason.
Because that's all they were really though.
Yeah.
It's like so pointless.
But there's something about Mary. I honestly haven't seen it since it came out on video, and I thought it was funny, but I've never had the urge to go back and watch it again.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like because I'm like the same. I've probably only watched it around the time it came out, and yeah, it got some chuckles out of us. But like, has it aged really badly? I suspect it probably has.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It could be interesting to go back and watch because like films like that, like Shallow Hal and all them sort of movies, where you're just like it was very like of the moment, but then like give it like 10 years or even less than that, and people are like, ugh.
Yeah. A comedy always ages. That's the thing.
Yeah. If it's although speaking of a comedy that hasn't aged, I guess I'm sure this is on your list. Big Lebowski.
Yeah, I was saving that for the end because this is the best film of the year.
I just want to jump straight to it. I know we've got some shit to wade to, but like
we do.
But that's like a great example of a film that hasn't like the comedy hasn't aged at all.
No, because it's not humor based around gags. It's just humor based around good dialogue and good storytelling and good characters. You know what I mean? There's no like punchlines in it where it's like, oh, she's got cum on her face or anything like that. It's just a great because it's the Coens. So yeah, it's I think we've said it before on the show, but it's like there's not many films that I like call perfect, but I do think Big Lebowski comes close to just being perfect. Like great performances, great characters, great dialogue. Great story, even though it's super simple. It's just like a very basic private old Gumshoe story. Yeah. But your Gumshoe is like an old stoner. Perfect. Yeah. A great soundtrack as well. Like the music sounds like it was made for the movie. I know that's probably just because I've seen it so many times, but like it's just perfectly placed music. Yeah,
it's one of the mad things where if you get the soundtrack and like just skip through the songs, it's like every song is like super recognizable.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. There isn't a song where you go, oh, what scene is that in? Yeah,
you just know. Yeah, it's just so like imprinted on the movie. Yeah. But yeah, we probably should do the Big Lebowski on the show at some point. Like more in depth. I'm surprised we haven't. I don't think we've done any Coen Brothers movies, which is crazy.
I suppose it's just difficult with something like Big Lebowski because would it just be like an hour of us going and then this scene and then this scene and just laughing at?
I mean, probably. Normally when there's films that you were surprised we haven't done, it's because of reasons like that. So like, how can we review it objectively?
When we just love it so much.
Yeah. First Adam Sandler movie of the year, The Wedding Singer.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Another film I saw just for the first time not too long ago, actually, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. It's quite a sweet movie, actually.
Yeah.
Have you not seen The Wedding Singer?
I don't think so. No.
He also did The Waterboy this year as well, which is a one, I don't know, there's all like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, The Waterboy, I merged together. So I know Waterboy's the one with like American football, maybe?
Yes, yeah. And he's literally like, he brings the water to the pitch or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're the only thing I know. I might be wrong, but has it got the girl that plays Sonya in that film? The lady that plays Sonya in the Mortal Kombat movie?
Maybe. She's in one of them, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I know this, only because like I love Mortal Kombat that much, that movie that I was like, oh, it's got her in it.
It's got Sonya in it.
Yeah. But I've never seen it.
I put this in comedy because it kind of is. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, no, I listed it. To be honest, that's the only one I listed, apart from Big Lebowski and Something About Mary. So I could not be asked for comedy, the 98 stuff. But yeah, I have seen Lock, Stock, but it's always kind of second fiddle to Snatch for me, to be honest.
Yeah. I would probably say. I mean, I think I've only watched Lock, Stock once when it came out. I was never like huge on the whole Lock, Stock, British gangster post Lock, Stock movies, except Snatch, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think. Yeah, Lock, Stock was... Yeah, there was definitely comedy in it, but it was more like British gangsters are cool in it. Is kind of what it felt to me.
It's still got its tongue in its cheek, though. Yeah, it's not just funny, I would say.
Yeah, it's more like...
It's more on the nose, yeah. But yeah, just that whole... It was like fucking after, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, where like every American independent movie was like fucking cool gangsters speaking about French fries. You're like, oh, fuck off. And like it was the same with Lock, Stock. After that, it was just like Brit rock soundtracks with like geezers in it and shit. You're just saying, oh, fuck. And they were just all awful.
That period where whatchamacallit was famous, that footballer. Like,
Vinnie
where's
Jones.
he gone? Where's Vinnie Jones gone? You don't see much of him anymore.
Hunting foxes in the middle of the night. That's the last time I saw him.
Oh,
Piece of
really?
shit, yeah.
What a twat.
Have you seen the movie Rushmore? Was it one of Wes Anderson's early movies with Bill Murray? And I haven't seen it for a long time, but I remember really liking it at the time.
Maybe not, no. No, I can't remember shit about it.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Yeah, that's a film I've never really... I think I watched like 20 minutes of it and it just wasn't connecting with me.
That's my problem with it. It's like I like the first half, and then I just always remember every time I've tried to watch it, I just like zone out towards. I don't even know how it ends. I'm not even sure if I finished it, but I just really like the early stuff with them in the car, like tripping out and stuff. And Johnny Depp's great in it. But and it's just the curse of fucking Terry Gilliam. There's just something about it. I don't merge well with the way Terry Gilliam makes movies. I just can't do it. I don't know why. Yeah. Even something like we reviewed on the show, like the most innocent and simple of his movies, Time Bandits, I was just like, I can't do it.
Yeah, there's just a funny feel to them, isn't there?
Yeah.
Definitely. I definitely liked Time Bandits as a kid, but then I could see the strangeness in it as well. And like when I watch it as an adult, there is definitely chunks where I'm like, come on.
I would say he's an acquired taste. It seems like, because there's always just something off. Well, like, and I know he has fucking hardcore fans. You know what I mean? So I'm like, there's obviously people who love it and get it. I just don't get it.
No.
Not saying he's bad. I just don't get it. Truman Show. That's a kind of a comedy, right? That was including comedy because Jim Carrey.
It's in between drama and comedy, but I think it would fit into both. Yeah,
it was definitely the most serious film Jim Carrey had made up until that point, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good movie. Once again, there's a lot of fucking films you'll notice that I saw once in '98 and never saw again. This is one of them.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about this. Yeah, there's definitely, a film like Sphere that I mentioned. It's like, yeah, they're good movies objectively, but like films you watch once, never go back to. Basically, there's so many of them films on this list where you're like, oh yeah, I saw that, but never went back to it.
And of course, the classic that is Blues Brothers 2000. Like I said, I think it's okay. Yeah. I can see why, obviously, hardcore Blues Brothers fans think it's bad because one of the main stars is dead. So,
well, I was going to say that's problematic, isn't it? Yeah.
But he's replaced by John Goodman, and I watched John Goodman read a phone book for 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't get Blues Brothers, to be fair, either. That's another film that I always scratch my head at. Like, I always want to enjoy it, and I hear people gushing about it, but then I put it on, I'm like...
I'm kind of the same. It's weird, and I love Dan Aykroyd, and I think John Belushi's funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. Yeah. And it's John Landis. I do. It's much of a shithead as John Landis is. Like, I do enjoy his movies.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
But maybe I just need to give it another try. I don't know. Maybe I was just the wrong... I haven't tried to watch it for years, 20 years. I need to give it another go. Like, reading through that SNL book I was reading over Christmas, it really made us want to watch it again, so I'm off to do it.
Do it for the show.
Yeah, we probably should,
do Blues Brothers and the sequel.
Blues Brothers 2000. Yeah. Action.
Yes.
Let's start with a good one. Blade.
Yeah.
Still the best Blade movie and still one of the best Marvel movies. Fight me. I don't care.
Yeah. No, it's crazy to think that it came out like before superhero. Well, obviously Superman and all that sort of shit. But it was like in a superhero dry spell, we'll say, it came out. Obviously, vampires were like on the rise at this stage, the vampire popularity, Buffy the Vampire and all that.
I was going to say, Buffy hadn't been on long at this point, right?
Yeah. In fact, I might mention it later on, but TV, I think it had its UK premiere.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
So say what you will about Wesley Snipes and stuff and the daft decisions he's made and stuff with his money. For me, it's like one of the best performances. Like, he's just so stone cold cool and stuff, and the trench coats and stuff, and before the Mavericks, obviously, as well. He made leather trench coats and martial arts, like, cool before it was a thing.
And the use of electronic music mixed with that and the martial arts and the action scenes, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the most quotable line probably in that movie is that, why are some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill?
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, like we've always said, I'm sure I've probably mentioned it at some point over the years in the show, but I'd never understand why people think Blade 2 is like the Godfather 2 of that series. Like, it's nowhere near as good as the original.
Yeah, it's like really, like when you just get like a really mainstream cereal and it's all sweet and no substance. It's kind of like that sort of thing, where you just immediately, the gloss is there and it's mainstreamy and there's no substance to it, and you think,
And the overuse of CGI before it was ready. Like, I know we've so said the other night, and we were talking, like, if it wasn't for that bit at the end of the original Blade with, like, the CGI, if they would fix that would make that film perfect.
Yeah, because, being objective about it, there's some problems with the movie, like the CGI stuff and that. You see a giant fly at one point on the city as well. That's always like one of my favourite mistakes.
Is it like a time lapse shot?
Yeah, it was a time lapse of like, I don't know if it was a shot of a model or it was just the fly was on the camera, but you see like a giant fly and it's like, fuck me, they never edited that out.
I know, like, what is it, like 2 frames? Like, get rid of it.
And once you know it, it's like not like a blink and you miss it. It's like, it's really easy to spot when you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So crazy. So yeah, but I'm still interested to see like if that remake will ever happen. Or whatever, not remake, but
I think it's still on the cards.
Yeah. I guess maybe Marvel just taking a break.
Yeah. But I mean, the fly thing. I mean, fucking Citizen Kane has pterodactyls flying in the background in one scene. So that's the greatest movie ever made.
Just reusing the footage, or whatever it was. Yeah. I guess mistakes just happen.
Yeah, exactly. More Snipes that year, though, with the sequel to, spin-off of The Fugitive with US Marshals, which it seems to be fucking really forgotten about now. Like, no one ever mentions that. But I remember like watching it, going into it like, ugh. But I quite enjoyed it. It was fine. It's just The Fugitive again, but with Wesley Snipes instead of Harrison Ford, pretty much.
It's just
I remember thinking it was fine.
There's a deluge of movies like that around this time, though, wasn't there? Like Gene Hackman was in one and stuff, and there was just like a slew of movies that were like
old grumpy cops.
Yeah, but like thrillery and and there was always like some guy running on the poster, and it was in black and white. The image of them
just the 90s in general was just the thriller era.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also had, this is like we were saying earlier, the year Hong Kong went to Hollywood. You had Chow Yun-Fat and the Replacement Killers, Jackie and Rush Hour, Jet Li and Lethal Weapon 4, plus Corey Yuen helped out on the fight choreography on Lethal Weapon 4. I guess first, Replacement Killers, like, we would already come to Hollywood a few years before with like Hard Target. Always kind of struck me as odd that like a studio was never like, okay, Chow, you come over and make like a movie with John Woo. Maybe they just didn't want to, but it just seems like such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Like even if they just went remake The Killer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just like slightly Americanize it, basically. Yeah, it would have worked, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Like, such a shame. Can't remember, I'm trying to think about Replacement Killers. I've seen it a few times, but sadly I can't really recall anything about it.
It's I mean, it's not up there with like. Obviously, we're trying to make a Hong Kong style Chow Yun-Fat movie, like a John Woo style Chow Yun-Fat movie in Hollywood, and it works. It's good. It's got some good action in it. Him and Mira Sorvino are good. I think Michael Rooker's in it, from what I remember as well. I always like seeing the Rook and stuff. But yeah, the thing I was going to mention, like this fucking, obviously, Tarantino, big fan of Hong Kong cinema, as he's borrowed it many times. There was around the time it came out, there's an interview, you can find it online still, and it pisses me off every time I stumble across it and force myself to listen to it, because I think at this time Tarantino was dating Mira Sorvino, who's in the movie. Yeah. And he's talking about Howard Stern, and then Tarantino just comes out with, God, Chow Yun-Fat sucks in that movie. And he's like, if you're gonna make a movie in Hollywood, learn some English. Oh God. And I'm just like, you fucking
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally
for fuck's sake, he literally fucking ripped City on Fire off to make his debut. The only reason his characters are all in black suits is because of Better Tomorrow 2, basically.
Yeah. Was he jealous? Maybe was there a rumor like Chow Yun-Fat had come on to Mira Sorvino?
That's what it feels like. I'm just like as if. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, was there something on set that pissed him off about Chow Yun-Fat, and he was like defending his girlfriend? But nothing's ever. I've never read anything about that. Weird. Chow Yun-Fat's known as being one of like the most professional actors on the planet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know why he would have like a fucking stick up his ass about it, but yeah, fucking saying learn some English. Like, did he learn fucking Mandarin when he went to shoot in China? No.
Yeah, shitty thing to say.
Fucking foot sniffing freak. But yeah, I've wanted to fucking moan about that in the show for years. I could just never find an opportunity. Thank you, 1998, and thank you, Replacement Killers.
The big bastard that he is. Weird.
You haven't made a decent fucking movie since Jackie Brown, mate. Fuck off. So yeah, I like Replacement Killers. I will have to watch. We'll have to maybe do another one. Once again, this is the main reason we do these shows now.
Yeah, prompts for doing it.
It makes me go, I should maybe do that. But yeah, it's a fun movie. Movie. It's got some good action in it. You know, Chow with a gun.
Yeah.
It's looking cool, so you know.
But I think that were the two stars, you know, like Chow Yun-fat and Jackie Chan. Obviously, Jackie Chan like struck gold, really did. With Rush Hour. I think it was one of them. The film's definitely a good film, obviously, but it just came out at like the right moment as well. I feel people were ready for that kind of movie again, and like Chris Tucker was kind of like quite on a high still.
Yeah,
you know, like because I guess was it after. I'm trying to think like what point it would be after. Obviously, it's way after Friday and stuff.
Yeah, and then he did that movie Money Talks with Brett Ratner before this as well.
Yeah, and Fifth Element. Was that before or after? Should have looked
Fifth
up.
Element like 97 or something.
Yeah, possibly. So yeah, I just feel like when I saw it announced, I felt like in my memory, it's like, oh yeah, Chris Tucker was like massive when it was like announced it was going to be a Rush Hour later.
No, he was the second. It was supposed to be Jackie and Martin Lawrence, I think, originally.
Yeah, and
then he dropped out, and then the Chris Tucker was announced, and I was quite excited because I was a big Friday fan, and I was like, Jackie and Smokey.
Yeah, but yeah, a really good movie.
It's fun. Yeah. I was really excited for it at the time.
Yeah, because obviously we were like hardcore going into Jackie Chan movies and stuff, and you know, Rumble in the Bronx had us super hyped around this era, right? So
it's fun. I always think back on those movies now, like First Strike, Rumble in the Bronx, and all those. Like those are kind of like now, but like they were the films that got like back into those movies. But like now, I think of them and I'm like, Rumble in the Bronx has some good action, but like as a film, it's not very good. And like First Strike, I can always take or leave, and like Mr. Nice Guy's okay, but yeah.
I think probably, and obviously it did come out this year. Who Am I?
I forgot that came out this year.
Yeah, I quite enjoy Who Am I out of all of them. I think like it has like a solid premise that he's like lost his memory and stuff, and
it's got a good premise. It's just the fucking problem with those eras, that era of movies is like he's filming in Australia and Africa and all these places, in Japan and whatever. I think Japan. No, not in Who Am I? I'm thinking of something else. But like that was fine back in the old days when everyone was dubbed. But like you just get some of the worst fucking Western actors in those movies, and it's like everyone's like, they're saying the lines. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like because his grasp of English wasn't there at all. Still, like I think in Rush Hour they were feeding him lines sometimes, weren't they? Like phonetically and stuff even. So yeah, like behind the camera as a non-native speaker, if you're filming someone and they're just saying the words, you'd be like, yeah, it's great.
There's some corking bits in Who Am I from what I remember. I just remember like I think she's the Japanese like journalist or something. She just has some lines in it where you're like, what? Why did they keep that in the movie?
Yeah, Mr. Nice Guy is the same. There's like that Australian lass who was in it, and like I don't know, she's just like reading the lines at times and stuff, and you're like, oh god.
But also, of course, Lethal Weapon 4, which we talked about not too long ago, a couple of years ago, which was Jet Li's big debut, and he's a cracking villain in it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. He's massively sinister, Jet Li. Like, for all like, he's one of them guys that when he smiles, his entire face lights up. Yeah. But when he's looking pissed off, you're like, Jesus.
When he's like got that like look in his eye and he's just grinning, he's like just pure evil.
Yeah. Yeah, I always liked Lethal Weapon 4, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'll probably put it above, like, Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah.
And you know, they did the, like, we're too old for this shit, but they did it just the right amount as well.
Because at that point, Mel Gibson, like, Riggs was too old for this shit as well.
Yeah.
Kind of funny, though. I think, what is it, like, isn't Murtaugh, like, Danny Glover was like 41 in the original when he was saying he was too old for this shit, and I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, when you find out, you're like,
when you reach that age and you're like, am I too old for this shit?
Close to retirement and stuff.
Also another Jet Li movie, like I think it was his last one before he went to America, Hitman, which is it's not very good.
Ropey. Yeah, ropey.
Very, very ropey.
Yeah, I think I like eagerly bought it during the era of us, like loving all things Hong Kong, and struggled through it because I had paid like $17.99 for it or something.
Yeah.
It was like,
From what I remember, it was one of the earlier Hong Kong Legends releases, I think.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it was not. It's just okay, but like it's not a great way to go out.
No.
That movie. As for sci-fi and fantasy, we had. I'm sure you've mentioned this movie before. Deep Rising with your boy Treat Williams.
yeah. Not that I can remember anything, but yes, I'm sure I have told you about Deep Rising before.
Is that another one where you said like they just left a blooper in where like, he gets caught on a ladder?
Yes, yeah, when he's got a gun on his back or something, yeah, yeah, and he's like, it's one of them ladders where it's got a safety cage on it, and he's like starts climbing up it, and his gun gets stuck, and he's like reaching behind his back trying to get it, and then it just like cuts. It's like, what the fuck? It just looks so awkward. Yeah, very low effort sort of movie.
And then we got Sphere, which we talked about before. And Deep Impact, which I don't think either of us can remember which one Deep Impact is. It's the asteroid. It's the other asteroid movie of the year.
It's the other asteroid one, yeah.
And then, of course, Armageddon, which, like I said, I've seen once in '98. I honestly thought at the time that was okay.
I just remember it being like massively rolled my eyes because like everything was going wrong, like it was too much going wrong.
Yeah,
where they were like, they were getting on the space shuttle, and then the launch button didn't work, and the seat belts wouldn't work. It was like almost to that degree where it was like, fucking hell, it's like a parody. Like, could something at least go right? Jesus,
someone forgot the ciggies.
But it was a massive thing. It doesn't surprise us, I guess, thinking about it, like. It being like really a high grossing movie and stuff of the year.
Oh yeah, it was a big movie.
Yeah.
And it's just funny, because my dad worked on oil rigs most of his life, and it was just funny getting his like take on it. It's fucking stupid, basically.
Yeah, like people running around with a shotgun
on an oil rig. Yeah. Like I know it's to show his character is like super protective and mad, but like no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, like an extremely combustible situation, and you've got a shotgun.
Ridiculous. The X-Files movie. I don't think I've seen the X-Files movie,
It's a funny one because I'm a massive fan of X-Files. I've probably watched the X-Files TV show like in its entirety 10 times over, at least. Love the first 7 seasons. The movie, just what a misstep for me. They just chose the wrong idea for the movie. I was really underwhelmed when I saw it in the cinema. Maybe watched it again when it was released on DVD or something, or video DVD, and never went back to it. Just was not interested at all.
Yeah, that seems to always be the general consensus with those X-Files movies. Everyone's just always like, why this story for the movie? Like, it just kind of feels like an average episode. That seems to always be the opinion that seems to go around.
Yeah, well, you've kind of got to up your game, and you've got to like movieify it. Some Star Trek purists will always moan about, Wrath of Khan and how it was more action-oriented, and that's not what Star Trek's about and stuff. But it's like, yeah, but you've kind of got to do that because that's how you get bums and seats and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they've got to fully sell out, but you make it so it's exciting and stuff.
Godzilla. Another big movie of the year, another, once again, like with Armageddon, a big tie-in song. You had the Aerosmith song for Armageddon, you had the Puff Daddy song with Godzilla.
Massive, like, it was such a thing, wasn't it? That I feel that's died off in movies and songs and stuff.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. So that's just not a thing anymore.
Yeah, because
with the exception of Bond.
Yeah. But it was like really present. Like, this is the movie. This is the song for the movie.
Like a big, like, what would you say? The Ghostbusters, maybe the first one, where it was like a big tie-in song made for the movie, had a music video.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, we should probably look at that at some point. Like, what literally started that? The big, like, song and movie. But Ghostbusters was probably one of the early examples of it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen the American Godzilla.
Have you not?
No.
It's Matthew Broderick and fucking
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno, yeah. God, like trying to break into Hollywood, I guess, right?
Well, no, he'd already done Leon before
like
this.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that was like his agent was like, "This is gonna make you a megastar."
Yeah. So and it made a lot of money, but like it's one of those ones that made a shitload of money, but no one really likes it.
Yeah.
It's like no one came out going, that was a perfect adaptation of Godzilla. Because he doesn't even look like, it just looks like a big T-Rex. From what I remember, it looks fuck all like Godzilla.
Basically, yeah, the T-Rexified him. There's like whole bits where like baby Godzillas running about and they're like little raptors and stuff. Matthew Broderick like horrendously miscast in the movie. Basically, there's something about him that doesn't. Well, I like the guy and I like him in like he's in other films and stuff, but in that film it just didn't work.
Yeah.
But it was just it was like your perfect summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like Behemoth, McDonald's, and fucking, I'm sure even like BMW Godzilla edition cars were coming out. So, like fucking everyone was on that bandwagon of merchandising.
Yeah, I really missed out on getting the Happy Meal with a little Matthew Broderick in it.
It'd be amazing. Because yeah, I always think like a film like that is like the Batman Forever sort of deal, where it's like it's more of a merchandising vehicle than it is a movie. Basically.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of those back then. Yeah. A movie I've always wanted to see out of curiosity, that Kurt Russell movie Soldier, which I think is Paul W.S. Anderson, but it's apparently set in the same universe as Blade Runner. Apparently, when Blade Runner's going on Earth, this is going on somewhere else, like Mars or the Moon or something.
Right, yeah.
What was it? It's not very good, but just because of that element, I've been curious about it for years. I've just never got around to it.
Yeah, it's a one I've never seen. I don't think. But yeah, which is kind of surprising. It feels like a very me film. To be fair.
So again, another one for the show.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's just talk about your favourite movie of all time, Lost in Space.
Oh, I tell you. People will tell you that movie is no good, but they are lying. It's amazing. I fucking love Lost in Space.
Why is it good? Sell it to me.
Firstly, I love the premise of Lost in Space. I love the TV show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you love the old TV show. And
yeah. I think, like, yeah, there's just something about it. It's like, it sticks somewhat faithfully to the show, but then it's, like, trying to do its own thing. It doesn't feel, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because of my love of it, but I don't feel like it's necessary, like it doesn't offend or anything. It has vibes of like Event Horizon, where they find a ship, and I just love it. I think I've said this recently on one of the shows. I love a good ghost haunted house sort of scenario where the heroes get on a ship or go to a place and the shit's already gone down, and then they've got to kind of figure out what the problem is. That when they find this like abandoned experimental ship, it's being overrun by like these mutant spiders and stuff. I love that, like that whole section of the movie about that.
Yeah, I think we said it maybe on the Life Force show, what you're saying, like that is always a good starting point for a sci-fi movie. Yeah. A sci-fi / like horror movie especially. Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, maybe I'm thoroughly biased. I quite like the Lost in Space TV show, the modern one that they did recently, like 2018 or whatever. So maybe it's just the idea of a family being lost in space and the sheer dread of, and the massive expanse of space. I think maybe that just always appeals to my inner child.
I'll have to watch it, so I've never seen it.
Yeah, Mark LeBlanc. Yeah. Quite possibly his one and only big sort of blockbuster movie. Bless him.
Yeah, he never really did as much movie work as the rest of them, did he?
Well, I think this was like his one shot, unfortunately, and like mostly I think it's considered like a massive flop. This film, I think half without looking at the trivia, I know it cost like a stupid amount of money.
Yeah.
Like the suits that the wore in the movie cost like an insane amount of money from memory.
Well, I remember it being mega hyped at the time. 'Cause it must have been one of the summer movies, right?
Yeah.
Along with like Godzilla and Armageddon and shit. Yeah. But yeah, I do remember like just seeing it in Empire and Total Film a lot and seeing it on TV, like little making ofs and stuff. So they were definitely promoting the shit out of it.
Yeah.
They were hoping it was going to be a massive summer hit.
But I think it was just one of them films where they spent so much on it, it was always doomed to be a flop just because it would never make its money back.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like I think Gary Oldman does an amazing job.
Yeah, he's the old
Dr. Smith. Yeah, he's an amazing job in it. Like thoroughly like repulsive character and stuff. Yeah. William Hurt. It's got like a weird cast. Like Mimi Rogers is the mum.
Oh.
Yeah, looking really good in a tight spandex space suit.
I didn't realise Gary Oldman and Mimi Rogers were in. I'm going to have to watch it tonight.
I thoroughly like it. I was tempted at one point to say I don't think it's aged badly at all, but then I was remembering there is some very 90s stuff in it.
Well,
there's a character played by Lacey Chabert, who's just called Penny in the movie, and she's got like a little CGI like pet monkey thing, and it looks awful. So it has aged in some ways.
The old like, hey, look at it's not going to get better than this. Put a CGI monkey in. It looks real. Looks real.
Yeah, and I'm sure they were hoping to like make little toys of it or something. And
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Lost in Space. We should definitely do that in the show sometime.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. When I was a kid, like I remember watching Lost in Space now and then, but when it came to those like old TV shows that were always on Sunday on Channel 4, I was always more of a Land of the Giants kind of guy. I like Land of the Giants.
I did like a bit of Land of the Giants. Yeah, definitely.
And the Waltons.
You can't beat a good Sunday afternoon TV show like that, can you? Really?
Waiting for like Sunday dinner, just watching like the Waltons. Last one, the Trek movie, Star Trek Insurrection. I don't think I've seen this one.
No, really? Yeah.
Later. We didn't do this one, did we? No, we did First Contact when we did the Next Gen movie. Yes, I've never seen it. Which one? This isn't the Tom Hardy one, right?
No, it's not. But it's kind of, this is a maligned movie. It's one of them films that falls into that formula of like every other Star Trek film is a flop. You see, this is the problem that I don't know, maybe they listen to the fans too much. After First Contact, which was like action orientated and a bit of horror and stuff and space battles and stuff, fans were like, this isn't really what Star Trek's about. So Insurrection feels more like a TV show, like a two-parter. Okay. Where it's about a colony of people who they basically live on a planet that gives them like regenerative abilities. They stay forever young, and this species of bad guy are like trying to rehome those people that live on the planet because they want to harvest the planet's like special powers that make people young again.
Oh, it's just the beardless Frakes one.
Yeah,
shaves his beard off to look younger.
Yeah, it's the whole point is like when the crew go down to the planet, everyone starts like becoming more useful because of the special powers the planet has. Okay. So that's like the one where Geordi gets his eyes.
Right. Yeah, I've seen clips of this one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
feels like more like a good like the cast are getting together for a kind of a fun, happy time. Like there's a good energy to it. Like there's a lot of humor and stuff in the movie compared to the last one. I really enjoy it, but it's one of the movies that's like meh. I think people often say it. I imagine a lot of people went into like your average cinema goer and was just like, ugh, nah. Yeah. It's too Star Trek.
So I guess the Tom Hardy one came next. Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah.
All right, well, it's not this year, but do your impression anyway.
What of?
The lonely bit.
Oh, God, I haven't thought about that anyway. Yeah, Patrick Stewart's like, why did he bring me here? And then he just spins around, Tom Hardy spins around and goes, I was lonely.
I love that.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that in a while.
To be honest, that makes me laugh so much that any time I see anything Star Trek related, something in the back of my mind goes, I was lonely.
It's such a good
I haven't even seen the movie, it's just your impression of it.
Just know that bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to watch that movie ever.
You should watch it just for that bit.
I just don't think I will.
That bit, and when it's like, it's all Star Trek-y, and then Deanna Troi gets mind raped by an alien.
Oh, Jesus.
At one point. It's like, what were they thinking? That's far too dark. It's insane. She literally gets like mind raped by an alien at one point.
God.
And it's like, Jesus, it's too much.
Michael Winner directed that movie, isn't
Yeah, quite possibly.
Have I missed any sci-fi? Any notable ones? That's everything right.
Yeah, no, that's the main ones I've got listed, yeah.
So as for other, there's always an other section that don't really fit in any other genre. You've got Saving Private Ryan, which is a great movie. Not a film I'll watch a lot because Yeah,
it's like you kind of just be like, whoa, like people dying on D-Day and stuff.
It's a bit too like realistic, but it's a great movie. Though.
Yeah.
Meet Joe Black, that movie where Brad Pitt plays Death. Never seen the whole thing. I remember watching like a good chunk of it once on Sky. And the only thing I know of it now is just because of that meme where it was not supposed to be funny, but Brad Pitt like kind of as Death, he knows what's going to happen, and he turns to a Jamaican woman and says, "Hey, gonna be Ari." You're like, Brad, you just sound silly, and you don't sound Jamaican.
Yeah, can't do that. Culturally appropriate.
Exactly. Ants in A Bug's Life. Which one's which again? Because A Bug's Life was the
Bug's
one that
Life,
was the
Disney
popular
one.
one.
Yeah.
So who's the voice in that?
Now you've put us on the spot.
One of them's Woody Allen and one of them's Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
right?
Bug's Life is Woody Allen.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Let me quickly check though, so that people aren't like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Kevin Spacey's in Bug's Life.
Oh,
Fuck.
Problematic.
Problematic. I forgot about that. Christ almighty. Hayden Panettiere, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah, no, it must be the other way around, actually. It must be an Ants I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, but Bug's Life is definitely the better movie out of the two. Like the comedy lands better and stuff. Overlooking Kevin Spacey being in the movie. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like that happened twice with Disney, really, because then you had Finding Nemo and Shark's Tale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like 2 times where like big premise movies and the kind of the same idea, like fish and bugs. Weird.
I just like to imagine like someone at DreamWorks came up with an idea for Ants, and Ants is the DreamWorks one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then like they got fired for some reason and went to Disney with the same idea, but the guys at DreamWorks were like, "We're gonna make it still."
Yeah.
And then the same thing happened the opposite way around with Finding Nemo and A Shark's Tale.
Yeah, just cracked on with it. It's mad though, like because I was just having a quick look, like both movies as well, like both movies' gimmicks are let's just fucking get a mad cast, basically.
Back then, yeah, like because what was after fucking Aladdin. All they really concentrate on which big star can we get in an animated movie.
Yeah. But yeah, no, with Ants, it's Woody Allen, Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Stallone, Dan Aykroyd.
Also, they're in the same one. For some reason, I remembered them both as like they were the separating things that always stuck in my head to separate them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, same thing. But like Danny Glover, Jennifer Lopez, John Mahoney from Frasier.
Well, that cast is way better.
Yeah. But then, interestingly, in Bug's Life, I've forgotten his name. David Hyde Pierce is in Bug's Life. It's like there's a bit of a Frasier off there. Yeah. 2 big actors from Frasier in separate bug movies.
Bet they were throwing jibes at each other on the set of Frasier.
Who's going to be in the better bug movie? I bet you David Hyde Pierce just didn't talk about it because of Kevin Spacey.
By the way, you know I learned this the other day and it kind of blew my mind. Do you know the Netflix noise? The da-doom.
Oh yeah.
Do you know that's Kevin Spacey?
What, doing the noise?
It's from House of Cards.
Oh, right.
It's the sound of him punching the desk twice. That's where the noise came from. I was like, what?
God, I'm surprised they haven't got rid of that.
Yeah, it's completely blew my mind. Because I think that I didn't realise, but someone was saying that was the first Netflix original series, House of Cards. I thought it was something else, but no, it was that. Yeah. So that's why they used it, I guess.
God, that's crazy. Bit of trivia. Christmas trivia for you.
Yeah. We've got Chrissy Nolan's first movie following his indie debut, which I've seen once. It's a good movie.
Yeah. I've never seen it.
It was on like BBC Two late one night, like around the time like Memento came out and he was getting his name out there and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. Out of Sight with our old J-Lo and George, the Clooney.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I haven't seen it for years. Once again, watched it once in about 98, 99 on video. Never watched it again.
Not seen it, no.
Run. You seen Run Lola Run? That was like, you remember in the 90s, like it seemed like every year there was a big European movie from like Germany or France that would get big, and this was the one for 98.
No, never seen it, but it's one that like the poster's burnt in my mind.
Yeah, you just saw it all over the place in like 98. Yeah. It's a good movie though. I'd recommend it. It's one of those good like not all the reality movies, but it's like a scenario played out 3 different ways based on decisions type of thing.
Right, yeah.
Like she's running around trying to get money for like a scumbag boyfriend who's in debt, and it's like the 3 different ways she could do it.
Right.
It's a good movie though.
Yeah.
It's got that Franca, never sure how to pronounce her surname, Potente from, she was in the Bond movies and stuff.
Yeah, Franca Potente.
Yeah, that was like a big breakup movie. And I put this in other, even though technically it's an action movie, but I just can't, I've never seen it and I can't be asked to like put him in action. The Patriot, not the Mel Gibson one, the Seagal one.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it either.
The Patriot who now lives in Russia. So anyway, moving on. Any I missed in other that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, quite a big one. American History X.
Was that 98? Fuck.
Yeah. So, yeah, like a really important movie that probably more people in America should watch.
It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. But I remember there being loads of drama at the time with the director and like... I think it's maybe BBC's done one of the movie, but like he had a falling out with the studio, over the final cut and stuff, and he just disowned the movie afterwards. So.
Yeah.
It's a good
But
movie.
yeah, no, well, like I said, with the grim rise of like Nazism and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and some misguided people in America and stuff, like I think more people should watch that and be like, oh fuck, really question the choices. Although sadly, they would probably watch a film like American History X and be like, yeah, that's what I want to be like.
Yeah, maybe.
Sort of like. Not understand getting bummed in the showers is like a direct consequence of being a Nazi arsehole.
Getting bummed in the shower.
The only other one that I was going to mention, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but when I was on me Mila Jovovich thing, He Got Game as well. That's a film.
Oh, Spike Lee. I've never seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen many Spike Lee movies, to be honest with you.
Me
I've seen
neither.
like Do the Right Thing. Maybe it.
Yeah, quite possibly. But yeah, I enjoyed He Got Game at the time. Watched it a few times.
No, is that Denzel Washington as well? Or am I thinking
Yeah,
something
it
else?
is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good film. Again, like I said, I've not seen it in a long, long time, but I always enjoyed it. Yeah, so yeah, thinking about it, Fifth Element must have come out earlier because like I said, I was on me like, oh, Mila Jovovich is the best thing ever.
Oh yeah, yeah. You were for a while. You and Elliot were big Jovovich fans.
Yeah, well, still are.
Yeah.
Why not? Fucking love her. I mean, I won't hold it against her for all those Resident Evil movies.
Well, she's got to pay the rent.
Totally.
But as for I just noticed a couple of things from UK TV in 1998. So if you're not from the UK, this will mean nothing to you for the next 5 minutes. Deidre Rashid got out the neck in Glencorrie after
Weatherfield won.
that was just reading back on that, and there was fucking newspaper campaigns.
Yeah.
That stuff, just shows how far soaps have fallen now.
Yeah.
They used to be a fucking big deal in the UK. It was as big as politics when a big story was going on in
TV could command the entire country basically. Yeah.
20 million people would watch a big episode of
Yeah.
the soap. Now they're lucky if 1 million do. And in EastEnders, Tiffany was run over by Frank Butcher on New Year's Eve.
Oh,
in 98.
shit.
Yeah.
Frank, how could you?
Frank! Who Wants to Be a Millionaire started in
Yeah,
1998.
I saw that. Yeah, Chris Tarrant. Starting it all. What a nice impression.
That's my only impression I'm going to do.
It was a behemoth, though, wasn't it?
It
Christ,
was.
fucking
yeah.
that show.
And then the cheating scandal happened, and it was even bigger. Remember that?
yeah, the guy that was coughing or
Guy in the
whatever.
crow, maybe it's that guy we ran into and went to see The Exorcist.
Yeah, quite possibly. Never watched it though.
I'd watch, it was one of those things. If you were passing a room and it was on, you'd watch it for a bit. Maybe I watched the first 5 minutes of the first episode because it was kind of like when the lottery started. It was kind of a big
one of them
deal.
things. Yeah, you couldn't avoid. But no, I think I'm pretty sure I always avoided it. I was always like, and I'm out whenever it came on TV.
Just remember, did someone win $1 million before the cheating scandal? Because I remember that when that woman won, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
she kind of looks loaded.
Yeah, she had a bit of a snooty air about it. didn't she?
yeah. Nothing against her. Maybe she wasn't, but she seemed like she doesn't look like she needs it.
No, she's like, whatever.
Put that in my back pocket.
Feed
Also-
me dogs.
I'll go on the dog food bill for the month. Another big one, though, movie related. Barry Norman left the BBC for Sky Movies.
The fucking big
Turncoat.
turncoat. That is.
Yeah, but after been doing the film show since the 70s.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
And then I think Jonathan Ross took over after him, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Anything else for TV?
There's quite a few things. Shout out for Tracy here. Last appearance of Helen Daniels on Neighbours.
Yes.
Up to
Did you die?
She died the year before, and she appeared in Neighbours as a ghost or a memory, something I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of them random Neighbours things.
I remember though when she left and she died, that was a big deal. We were all talking about Helen died of Neighbours.
Yeah, fuck.
We probably hadn't watched it for 5 years, but we remembered Helen Daniels,
Yeah.
the matriarch of
Big
Neighbours.
TV moment. But yeah, just to quickly whiz through it, because there's some notable things. Stargate SG-1 started in 98.
Yeah.
Rejuvenated the whole franchise and ran for fucking 11 seasons or something, and multiple spin-offs. Stargate, Atlantis, and all the rest. Crazy.
Sorry, for a second I was confused there. I just thought you said a Star Trek series. No, it's 11 seasons.
Yeah, no, Stargate.
Yeah, Stargate. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I always enjoyed Stargate. Kind of simple sci-fi. Probably outstayed its welcome. 11 seasons was a bit much.
That is a bit much, yeah. Calm down, Stargate. And then they had Stargate Atlantis and stuff.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, all the
spin-offs,
spin-offs. It was like, wow, crazy. But the first couple were innocent, fun, very of the time science fiction and stuff. Like an easy watch. Notable shows other than that, Sex and the City started that, yeah. Like, again,
Wow.
massive cultural sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not a thing for me, either of these, but Will and Grace as well, like massive TV shows.
Yeah, my mum used to love Will and Grace when it was on first. Because they did, like, that's another show that came back years later, didn't it? It's like a reboot,
Yeah. Moving over to the UK, there was Dinner Ladies, was a big show in the UK.
Yeah, my nan used to love that, Dinner Ladies.
Yeah. Less popular in America, Crow, Stairway to Heaven. Obviously.
Oh, yeah, Mark Dacascos.
Mark Dacascos, bless him. Like one season of it or something. Bless him. Probably better than the movies, like, to be fair, the TV show, from memory.
You know what, I've only seen the pilot, but I remember thinking, apart from the fact that it's like primarily set in the daytime, so that feels weird for a Crow TV series. Yeah. But he looked great as a character.
Yeah,
and
I think that's it.
It was, you know, it was once again, it was more of like a TV version of the movie than a TV version of the comic. But it was okay.
Yeah.
The pilot was decent.
Yeah, we have to check out some episodes, see if it still holds up. Talking about random TV shows that happened, Highlander the Raven came out, which was a spin-off of the Highlander TV show.
I'll be honest, I used to watch the Highlander TV show quite regularly. It was always on. I remember like
late night or something.
The same night Vids was on, and it was always on like 1 a.m. on ITV, and I would just watch it just because there was nothing else on. But it was, you know, had a banging theme tune with the Queen theme tune and stuff, and it was a decent enough series.
It's just crazy that TV show then got its own spin-off. It's like spin-off mania back then when like fucking Hercules got a spin-off and Xena and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I always forget that Hercules came first and Xena's the spin-off.
Yeah.
For years, I just thought there were two separate series that like intermingle, but I forgot Xena was a spin-off of Hercules.
Like, I wonder if this Highlander the Raven came before or after. Maybe it's after, because obviously the Highlander the Raven was a female-led spin-off TV show. So I wonder if they kind of saw the popularity of Xena and was like, we'll do that.
Maybe.
But it only aired for like, I don't know, like 10 episodes or something like that. It was a short-lived TV show.
Yeah.
Never watched it though. So
no, me either. I
can't really comment.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it did come out the year earlier in America, but it had its UK sort of premiere, and we would have watched it probably after this, I guess. 98. We didn't watch it 98, right?
I didn't watch Buffy until it was finished, I think, because I was just borrowing your like box sets in like mid 2000s when I never bothered with it, and then one day I just randomly was like, I want a box set to watch on a Sunday. Can I borrow Buffy? I'm sure you were like, what?
Like, have you been replaced by the pod people or something?
And then I just suddenly, like, I just really enjoyed it. I was like, I need to start ringing you up like that night. I need season 2.
You just, like, watched it all in one
I think
row.
I did, pretty much.
Yeah, I think I might have got on board with it, like, around season 3 or something, because I was watching it on Sky when it was airing.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, maybe it's, like, 2000 or something I started watching.
But yeah, that's something we've mentioned before in one of these shows, and we're talking about X-Files, like, you forget how long the gap was between an American show starting and us getting it. Like, I remember my mind was blown when I saw that there was an entire year before we got X-Files season 1. Like, isn't that mental? Like, to think of now, like, waiting a year for something that you're just probably hearing about in magazines,
seeing in sci-fi mags and that. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and it's sad that it almost like it still hasn't gone away. Like, The Mandalorian, like, aired in America like a year before it officially aired in the UK.
Yeah, because they hadn't fucking sorted out Disney Plus in the UK.
Yeah, it's like so crazy.
And then when they did, they were like, yep, you're still getting it week by week, fuck you.
Yeah, it's like, who's not seen it at this point?
Yeah.
But yeah, off the back of Buffy, obviously you had the very similar show Charmed that started in '98.
Yeah, Charmed.
Which was has its own massive following as well. Like.
Jamie loved it.
Yeah, well, you know, it was never a thing I enjoyed, because the whole witchcraft stuff never really interested me.
Yeah.
But that ran for, I feel like it was a lot, 7 seasons or something.
Yeah, because I remember like a few of the main cast changed over the years. Like Shannon Doherty left like early-ish, I guess.
Yeah. But then the last sort of TV thing, just to mention, a pop for you, Brookside sort of 2000th episode in 1998.
It should be still going, let's be honest. Stacey will back me up on this. It should be still going.
So yeah, that's it for TV.
In music, the biggest song of the year in the UK was Believe by Cher.
Oh, God, I know. It was fucking everywhere.
But, you know, good, because the second most popular was the fucking Celine Dion song, I think, from Titanic.
Yeah.
That was still selling like fucking 98.
And obviously, going back to an earlier point, like the Aerosmith song as well, that was doing rounds.
That was big
I don't
as
want
well.
to miss a thing.
Couldn't get away from it.
Movie tie-in songs.
Yeah. Here's a blast from the past, though. The biggest album of the year in the UK was Talk on Corners by The Cause. Remember The Cause?
Oh, yeah.
Who was your favourite call?
God knows. I don't know, they were all quite... They weren't the sisters, The Cause.
It was three sisters and a brother,
Yeah. I know nothing about The Cause, to be fair, but then again, I always enjoyed the music.
I remember that, you know, it wasn't like I was buying the singles of their albums, but when they came on the radio, I was like, it's catchy enough.
Yeah, singing along. Like earworm songs, basically, weren't
totally,
they? Of course.
And that's it, I think, for me. That's all my notes.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing, like, obviously, music-wise, it was very much like that year of cultural crap, like Britney Spears. That's when she debuted with Baby One More Time and stuff.
Was Spice Girls still going at this point?
It's kind of getting late into the career, of Spice Girls. Like probably Viva Spice came out or whatever that one's called. But yeah, like Run DMC versus Jason Evans, like that.
Yeah,
song.
I think that was like the third biggest song of the year in the UK. That was quite big. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, and then you just had the usual hitters like Boyzone, Bewitched. Fat Les with Vindaloo and stuff.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. Fat Les. It was
stuff.
Fat Les though. It's like a pseudonym for someone. Who is it again?
I could believe it was like Chumbawamba guy or something.
I'm sure. Did Fatboy Slim that had something to do with it?
Yeah,
I'm sure it was
possibly.
Someone like that had something to do with it. Yeah. It was like a combination of a bunch of different people.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, what was that for, like the Euros or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it was the big Euro. Yeah, World Cup. Yeah, maybe.
Was it World Cup?
France won the World Cup, I think.
Oh yeah.
Because like just to kind of cap off like world events and stuff. Obviously, music-wise, Frank Sinatra passed away in '98. Kind of.
Fuck, I thought he passed away earlier than that.
Yeah. So God bless her, rest his soul. And big in the news at the time would have been Bill Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky scandal.
Oh, that was '98. Jesus Christ!
The year he got impeached, and well, it resulted in him getting. I can't remember if he was impeached in '98 or '99, but really like vivid memories of all that shit on the news and stuff. He just couldn't get away from it, I guess.
Even at that age, though, I know it's like not very professional, but even at that age, I was like, it's not affecting him running the country now.
Yeah, like, who cares?
Who gives a fuck?
But I guess it brings his character into question.
It does, I know. I get it, but at the end of the day, it was like, you know, what a fucking idiot thing for him to do. You know what I mean? As much as I'm just like, fine, you know, as long as he's running the country, fine, but it's fucking stupid.
Yeah. It just, like I say, it was everywhere. The world was captivated by those.
I still remember seeing, like, maybe the next year or like later in the year when, I think it was Channel 4, someone did a whole documentary about the whole thing. And remember the big controversy that there was a fucking spunk stain on one of her dresses.
Oh, yeah.
And then they matched it to him, basically.
Yeah.
Like, there was a thing in the paper going, did Channel 4 do this on purpose as a bit of a joke? Like, the documentary went to a break, and they were like, and next we will talk about the infamous stain on the dress. And the first advert was an advert for Daz.
Perfectly keyed that up. Ready. Yeah. You just can't. We live in parody, basically. That's the problem.
We do. And for anyone who doesn't know what Daz is, stain remover.
Yeah.
Detergent.
Crazy. I think there was one other thing I wanted to mention. As a northeast sort of thing. So this is only relevant to us, really. But the Angel of the North was erected at Gateside in 1998. Really? Yeah, the 3rd of March it went up.
Do you say Gateside?
Gateshead. Gates. It's been that long since I've lived there. I'm like, fucking wherever.
Tyne and Gates or whatever. I don't know.
Gateshead. So Angel of the North went up. Which is weird. I don't know. Yeah. In my mind, I always think it was recent. But
yeah, I do actually feel like it still feels new to me.
Yeah. So there you go, 1998.
I mean, you say it's a local thing. Everyone knows the Angel of the North in the UK. It's quite a big thing.
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's quite a big landmark now. Yeah, it's quite well known.
Remember when somebody put like a Newcastle shirt on it or something, and everyone was angry about it?
I think I do.
Yeah, like
how the fuck would you even do that?
Yeah, like just some giant fucking thing that they put over it, like a massive flag thing. But yeah, it looked like a football shirt. I just remember everyone being annoyed by it or something weird.
Just like the world's biggest drunk idea. Oh, let's go to the Edge of the North and put a top on it. Waking up, seeing it on the news the next day. Oh shit.
Proud Geordie's gone extreme.
Like, can you not just put a traffic cone on top of a monument? Jesus. Dave, why do you have to go this far?
Like putting a fucking T-shirt on a massive statue.
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny.
It cost us 10,000. Like, what the fuck?
Champion Cinema.
Do you want to go over games quickly? Any big gaming
I forgot
highlights?
about the game stuff,
we're clocking on here. It's going to be a big one.
Christ almighty. Yeah, because it actually, like movie-wise and stuff, but video games-wise, it was a crazy year. I'll start just with the console stuff because there's not much to talk about there. The Dreamcast came out in 1998 in Japan.
I was going to say, because I think we've talked about that before, but it came out over here in 99.
It did, yeah. But yeah, like it had a very sparse launch in Japan. Came out with Virtua Fighter 3, Pen Triathlon, which was like a penguin racing game.
Sounds awesome.
Godzilla Generations, which was kind of shit from memory. I played it. And a game called July, which was a visual novel, like a thriller, murder, mystery thing. So yeah, only 4 games when it first came out. More the big stuff, like Nintendo was having a massive year. Zelda Ocarina of Time came out.
Yeah, that's a big fan. I'm not a big I don't know that much about the Zelda games, but I know that's a big fan favorite.
Yeah, massive. Like still to this day, people hold it as like the best Zelda game and things, depending on when you were born.
So that's still N64.
Yeah. GoldenEye, although GoldenEye came out in 97, it was right at the end of 97 when it came out. So a lot of people would have been playing GoldenEye in 98.
Oh yeah, we were definitely playing a lot of GoldenEye in 98.
Yeah. So massive year. And then Banjo-Kazooie on the N64 came out. Turok 2 came out. Seeds of Evil. So yeah, N64 was having a massive year.
It was.
But moving over to PlayStation, Metal Gear Solid came out in 98.
Yeah, weird. We were just talking about that the other night as well, randomly. When I was saying that, I remember just being blown away by how much I loved it. And then I think back now and think, I fucking hate stealth games. Like, what would I think of it now?
Mad. Yeah. I think the thing that really pushed Metal Gear Solid over and into the mainstream was how cinematic it was. It was like the first video game that turned people's eyes to be like, whoa, wait a minute, like video games can do this. Like they can have like dramatic camera angles and cuts and be fully voiced and things. Yeah. So yeah, it was a really big moment for video games, that like what you can do with them.
And just what you can do with like the technology, like that awesome bit where the psychic character tells you to put your pad down, and he moves it, and then he reads your memory card, right? At one point or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and if you plugged the pad into player 2 slot, you couldn't read your mind anymore and stuff.
Yeah. It's
so
like little clever things like that.
Yeah,
so
like proper breaking the fourth wall, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, other big games, massive one, Tekken 3 came out in 98 on PlayStation 1.
Is that chicken?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Chicken. Yeah, Jin Kazama debuted and Tekken Force, Tekken Ball and all that sort of stuff.
I fucking love Tekken Force mode. It's like I'm still waiting for a decent game like that. Been waiting for like since Tekken 3.
Just to walk along, beat them up, basically. So, other PlayStation, Resident Evil 2, massive game, obviously, for PS.
Oh, yeah.
PS1.
And you got the George Romero Japanese-only commercial that he directed.
Yeah, which was like, massive. I never got to see that at the time. It wasn't until like bloody years later.
Yeah, it wasn't until the internet I finally saw it, because I'm just seeing like really tiny little screen caps of it in like a video game magazine and being like, I want to see it.
Yeah, just never aired in the UK, probably because people were just like, too violent, not having it.
Yeah.
Mad.
And then you see it and you're like, it's literally like 7 seconds long.
It's like nothing at all.
Still cool though, because it would have been good if he had got to make the Resident Evil movie. It just seems right, he's the godfather of zombie movies. And that was the talk for years. He wrote a script and everything, but then they went in the direction they went in.
Yeah, just went in their own direction, got a script from somewhere else and made it into a Resident Evil movie. Yeah. Weird. But similar to GoldenEye, Final Fantasy VII came out in 97. So it would have been massively doing the rounds in 98 in the UK anyway, because it came out. I think it did get a worldwide release, but I probably didn't play it the first year. I probably played it like after Christmas sort of thing. And then Xenogears as well, which is another big Square RPG game.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've heard of that before.
Yeah, very similar to Final Fantasy, like turn-based battles and like walking around a map and story-driven game. But the Street Fighter, another one on arcades and PlayStation, but Street Fighter Alpha 3 as well. They were like massive at the time, the Street Fighter Alpha games. Thief, I just want to mention that. Not a massive franchise, but it was one of the first stealth games that like used like light and shadows and sounds and stuff.
Did they remake that at some point, or like do a version on like Xbox or something? Because the name sounds familiar, but not from 98.
It had a few like me, I'm tempted to say 3 or 4 games that came out in the end. So yeah,
Okay.
you probably played one of the later iterations of it.
Yeah.
Totally disappeared now, the Thief franchise. It's just
Yeah.
gone that. But Baldur's Gate on PC came out. StarCraft, another massive like franchise.
Isn't Baldur's Gate like got a new game out at the moment that everyone's playing?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, it's like multi-game of the year, award-winning game.
Is it another one of those fucking Dark Souls clones?
No, actually, it's
No?
very much like a isometric like RPG game where you point and click and have to do spells and stuff, and it's not my type of game, to be honest. That type of game, no. I did play it, but I recognised it seemed very good, but I was just like, oh no, I don't like those type of point and click games anymore. Oddworld came out that year. Oddworld Abe's Exodus, I should say, the sequel.
Yeah. The sequel.
The sequel came out, yeah. And Grim Fandango, if you've ever heard of that one, the LucasArts game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Really funny comedy game. Really, really good. And then last but not least, Unreal came out as well that year. So the kind of start of like Epic Games, really.
Yeah.
Went on obviously do like Unreal Tournament and the Unreal Engine and all that.
I never played those, but I always heard people talking about them.
Yeah. You know, like you had your Quakes, you had your Dooms, and then you had your Unreal fans. You know, it was like multi-camps.
Was Unreal the one that was kind of like the first one to really take advantage of like online gaming on PC?
Yeah, Unreal Tournament did. Yeah, massively. Yeah, and then like Quake Arena or whatever it's called, kind of jumped on it. So yeah, like massive year though for video games. They're just like so much. I mean, those are the big ones. There's tons more I could have just rattled on. It's, I feel like video games are like kind of slowing down like what films are almost like. When you look back at certain years and go, oh, fucking hell, there's like
all that good stuff.
20 amazing games that came out that started like massive franchises.
And I'll just say it again because I'm sure we said it on the 99 show. Like, R.I.P. to the Dreamcast, one of the most underappreciated consoles ever.
Yeah. So ahead of its time and able to do like 60 hertz, like refresh rate straight like out the box and stuff.
It's still probably my favourite console I've ever owned. The Dreamcast.
Yeah, just because of like Shenmue and stuff like that.
Shenmue and like games like that no one mentions anymore, like Power Stone that we played on for fucking hours at a time.
Yeah.
Just a very fun console.
Sega Bass Fishing for me.
Oh yeah, with the rod and stuff. Yeah.
Shout out all the fishing games that I used to play. Actually, I should mention Half-Life. Sorry, as well came out in '98. I should definitely mention Half-Life.
So that was '98 when we were playing the demo over and over again on my first shitey old PC.
Yeah. Especially made demo that was as well. It didn't even appear in the game.
Yeah, that bit. You saying?
Yeah. But yeah, like again, like a massive game that launched a franchise and had massive implications for. I feel like Half-Life was one of them like watershed moments where it changed what future games looked like, because it was like story driven, but there weren't any cutscenes. It all just kind of happened in front of your eyes.
It always kind of freaked me out. Half-Life.
Yeah, it had a massive like, although it was like hugely action driven and stuff, there was some massive horror elements.
It's just the guy always watching the guy wearing the suit watching you from a distance always freaked us out and shit.
G-Man and stuff.
G-Man, yeah.
So yeah, there you go, 98 on video games.
That was 1998, and now to play us out, here's Cher.
If I believe. The year people found auto-tune, basically. Yeah, like Cher is to blame for it all.
She pretty much is, yeah. So yeah, that was 98. We'll end with Cher was to blame.
We need to come up with ending to these shows instead of just ending flat.
I like ending it with Cher was to blame.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's just edit this out and just have Cher playing this out.
So yeah, that was a fun show. It's going to be a chunky one, an hour and a half, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Dang.
So yeah, if you want to reach out to us on the social media, on social media, on Instagram, it's Champion Cinema Pod. Don't know what we're doing next week, but it's going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. Don't know, but it'll be good.
Yeah, we'll have a look over this list. Have a think about what we're doing.
Yeah, we've got about 10 more movies to choose from.
The amount of films we've just said, we should probably do that.
Yeah, we should probably just do some of that. So yeah, until next week, folks, I will see you down a bit.
See you in the heap.
Bye.
Champion Cinema.